Your DNA decides what you can attract before your mind even forms the desire. Most people die chasing dreams their cells were programmed to reject, because your ancestors' survival code is still running your reality, like a genetic bouncer trained to keep you small. Every limitation you feel, that's a bloodline whisper. Every block, a generational ghost. You're not manifesting, you're begging permission from dead people's fears. But the elite know what science won't admit. Attraction is cellular, silent, ruthless, unstoppable. Your subconscious isn't the enemy. Your DNA is the real gatekeeper, and I've spent time cracking its code. After studying epigenetics in the shadows, I discovered the forbidden frequency that rewrites survival programming. But here's what terrifies most people about this truth. You don't attract what you want, you attract what your DNA accepts. So in this video, as we dive deeper, first I'll expose the survival code hidden in your DNA, blocking you from attracting what you want. Second, I'll rewire your cells in real time to gravitate your desires to you. And then third, I'll trigger the cellular purge that activates your original blueprint for effortless attraction. By the end, you won't just know the truth, you'll feel your DNA obeying it. Your DNA is not yours alone. It's a library, a database, a collection of every trauma, every fear, every limitation your ancestors couldn't heal. And right now, in this moment, you are living out their unfinished business. That anxiety you can't explain, that's your great-grandmother's fear of abandonment, still echoing through your nervous system. That scarcity around money, that's your grandfather's depression-era programming, encoded in your cells like a virus you never knew you caught. That pattern of self-sabotage every time you get close to success, that's generations of your bloodline believing they weren't worthy of more. Science calls it epigenetics. Spirituality calls it ancestral karma. I call it the reason you're stuck. Here's what they don't teach you in school. Trauma changes gene expression. When your ancestors experienced war, famine, abuse, abandonment, their bodies didn't just remember the pain, they rewrote their genetic code to survive it. And then they passed that survival code down to you. You inherited more than your mother's eyes and your father's stubbornness. You inherited their unhealed wounds, their unconscious beliefs, their nervous system responses to threats that no longer exist. Think about your family patterns. Really think. The addiction, the depression, the financial struggle, the relationship chaos, the health issues that seem to run in your bloodline like a curse. These aren't coincidences. These are programs, inherited instructions telling your body how to respond to life. Your grandmother couldn't speak her truth, so your throat chakra stays closed. Your father learned to numb his pain with work, so you can't sit still with yourself. Your mother believed she had to earn love through sacrifice, so you attract people who take and never give back. You didn't choose these patterns, but you're living them. Every day, every relationship, every opportunity you sabotage, every dream you talk yourself out of. You're not self-destructing. You're following ancient instructions embedded in your cellular memory. Until you understand this, until you see that what you call your personality, your fears, your limitations, are actually ancestral downloads, you'll keep trying to manifest from a foundation built on someone else's trauma. You can't build a new reality on an old operating system. The first step to freedom isn't positive thinking. It's recognizing that the voice in your head telling you this isn't for people like us isn't even your voice. It's the echo of ancestors who were told the same lie, who believed the same lie, who died believing the same lie. But their story doesn't have to be your story. The bloodline programming stops with you. The generational curse breaks with you. The moment you realize you're not living your life, you're living their unfinished karma. That's the moment you can choose to write a different ending. Epigenetics isn't just science, it's spiritual archaeology. It's the study of how your environment, your experiences, your emotions don't just affect you, they rewrite your genetic code. And that rewritten code, it gets passed down, generation after generation, like a family heirloom made of fear. Here's the brutal scientific truth. When your grandmother lived through the Great Depression, her body didn't just experience scarcity. It recorded scarcity as a survival strategy. Her genes literally changed to help her cope with lack, with uncertainty, with the constant threat of not having enough. Those gene changes didn't disappear when the Depression ended. They got passed down to your mother, to you, to your children, if you have them. So when you sit there wondering why you can't seem to hold on to money, why abundance feels foreign in your body, why every financial gain is followed by some mysterious loss, it's not because you're cursed, it's because your genes are still following Depression-era survival protocols. Your DNA is a database of generational trauma responses. Fear of authority, your ancestors lived under oppression. Fear of visibility, Your bloodline learned that standing out meant danger, fear of success. Generations of your people were punished for rising above their station. But here's where it gets really twisted. These genetic programs don't just influence your behavior, they influence what you can receive. Your nervous system, following ancient genetic instructions, will literally reject experiences that don't match your cellular programming. Your genes are like a bouncer at the door of your reality, and right now that bouncer is turning away every blessing, every opportunity, every miracle that doesn't match the genetic memo that says, people like us don't get nice things. This is why affirmations don't work. This is why positive thinking feels fake. This is why every time you try to step into a bigger version of yourself, your body goes into fight or flight. Because according to your genetic programming, expansion equals danger. Your subconscious isn't trying to protect you from failure, it's trying to protect you from success. Because success, according to your ancestral programming, is what got people killed. You weren't born broken. You were born uploaded with someone else's survival software. And until you learn to rewrite that software, until you understand that your genetic code is not your destiny, it's just your starting point, you'll keep living in the shadow of traumas you never experienced, carrying wounds that were never yours to heal. The curse isn't permanent, but it is powerful, and it's been running your life long enough. Your subconscious mind is not your friend. I know that's not what the spiritual community taught you. I know you've been told it's this magical ally waiting to help you manifest your dreams, but that's not what it is. Your subconscious is a guard dog, a loyal, vicious, protective guard dog whose only job is to keep you alive by keeping you exactly where you are. It doesn't serve your desires, it serves your survival. And according to your survival programming, change equals death. Think about it. Every cell in your body, every neural pathway in your brain, every automatic response in your nervous system has been shaped by one primary directive: stay alive. And in the language of survival, alive means the same relationships, even if they're toxic, the same income level, even if it's not enough, the same patterns, even if they're painful, because your subconscious has mathematical proof that these patterns work. The evidence? You're still breathing. So when you start visualizing that dream life, when you start affirming abundance, when you start acting as if, your subconscious doesn't hear possibility, it hears threat. It hears you planning to leave the known territory. It hears you talking about experiences outside your proven survival zone. And like any good guard dog, it attacks, not with teeth and claws, with self-sabotage, with logical reasons why your dreams won't work, with mysterious illnesses every time you're about to level up, with relationship drama right before your breakthrough, with financial emergencies that drain your expansion fund. Your subconscious doesn't want to hurt you. It wants to save you from the imaginary danger of becoming someone new. This is why people win the lottery and lose it all. This is why people find their soulmate and sabotage the relationship. This is why people get their dream job and somehow screw it up. Their subconscious warden is doing its job, returning them to the familiar, the proven, the safe. You can't negotiate with this guard dog. You can't convince it with logic or bribe it with positive thoughts. It's operating on a level deeper than your conscious mind can reach. It's following genetic instructions, ancestral programming, nervous system protocols that were written in blood and trauma. The only way past the guard dog is to prove to it, at a cellular level, that expansion is safe, that change doesn't mean death, that you can become someone new and still survive. But here's the twist. Your subconscious doesn't believe words. It doesn't trust thoughts. It only trusts felt experience, embodied proof, nervous system evidence that the new reality is actually safer than the old one. This is why manifestation isn't mental, it's somatic. It's not about changing your thoughts. It's about changing your cellular programming. It's not about what you think, it's about what your body believes. And right now your body believes that your current reality, no matter how limited, is the safest option available. The guard dog isn't your enemy, it's your teacher. It's showing you exactly what you need to heal, what you need to reprogram, what ancient fears are still running your show. But until you learn its language, until you understand that it's not blocking your dreams out of malice, but out of misguided love, you'll keep fighting against the very system that's designed to keep you alive. Your emotions are not just feelings, they're frequencies, electromagnetic broadcasts, chemical instructions telling your DNA how to express itself. Every emotion you feel sends a signal through your entire system. That signal doesn't just affect your mood, it affects your gene expression, your cellular behavior, your magnetic field, your ability to receive from reality. Fear contracts your field, gratitude expands it, anger creates chaos, peace creates coherence. Your emotional state isn't just how you feel about your life. It's literally how your life gets created. Here's what the spiritual community won't tell you. Your emotions are more powerful than your thoughts. A single moment of authentic joy does more for your manifestation than 1,000 repetitions of positive affirmations. Because emotions speak directly to your DNA in its native language. Your body is a broadcasting tower. Every feeling you experience gets transmitted through your bioelectric field and interpreted by the quantum field around you. What you call reality is actually just the external reflection of your internal electromagnetic signature. When you're stuck in chronic fear, your cells receive the message that you're in danger. They conserve energy, shut down non-essential functions, focus purely on survival. Your DNA literally changes its expression to match a crisis state. And in that state, abundance isn't available, growth isn't safe, expansion is a luxury you can't afford. But when you can shift into genuine gratitude, when you can access authentic joy, when you can embody peace, your cells receive completely different instructions. They relax, they open, they begin expressing genes associated with growth, healing, creativity, abundance. This is why some people seem to effortlessly attract what they want, while others struggle for years with no results. It's not about worthiness, it's about frequency. The people who manifest easily are naturally broadcasting emotional signatures that their DNA recognizes as safe to expand. Most people are trying to manifest from fear. They want more money because they're afraid of being broke. They want a relationship because they're afraid of being alone. They want success because they're afraid of being seen as failures. But manifestation powered by fear is like trying to grow a garden in concrete. The very emotion driving your desire is the same emotion that makes receiving impossible. Your emotional state isn't just the background music of your life, it's the conductor of your genetic orchestra. It's telling your DNA which songs to play, which expressions to activate, which possibilities to make available. And if you've been chronically stuck in survival emotions, if fear, anger, sadness, or shame have become your default frequency, then your genes are expressing limitation, not expansion, contraction, not growth, survival, not thriving. The shift happens when you realize that emotions aren't just reactions to your circumstances, they're commands to your DNA, instructions to your cells, signals to the quantum field about what reality you're ready to receive. You don't have to fake positive emotions. That actually makes things worse because your nervous system can't be lied to. But you do have to become conscious of what you're broadcasting. You do have to take responsibility for the electromagnetic signature you're putting out into the world. Because that signature isn't just affecting how you feel, it's affecting what you can attract, what opportunities show up, what synchronicities appear, what your cells are programmed to accept or reject. Your emotional field is your manifestation technology. Learn to regulate it, and you learn to regulate your reality. You are possessed, not by demons or dark entities, by ancestral patterns, by generational programs, by the unhealed spirits of your bloodline, who are still trying to complete their stories through your life. That depression that comes out of nowhere, that's your great-aunt's unprocessed grief, still looking for resolution. That explosive anger over small things, that's your grandfather's rage at injustice, still demanding to be heard. That fear of abandonment that ruins every relationship, that's your grandmother's heart, still breaking from wounds that never healed. You think your patterns are yours, but most of what you call your personality, your triggers, your automatic responses, are actually spiritual downloads from ancestors who died with unfinished emotional business. Here's what they don't teach you in school. Emotional energy doesn't just disappear when someone dies. Unresolved trauma becomes a kind of spiritual entity, a pattern seeking completion, and it attaches to the bloodline, passing from generation to generation, looking for someone willing to carry it forward. You didn't choose to be the carrier, but you are. Every self-destructive behavior, every limitation, every way you sabotage your own expansion is you unconsciously trying to heal something that was never yours to fix. Your ancestors didn't mean to curse you. They were just trying to survive. But their survival strategies became your inheritance. Their unhealed wounds became your default programming. Their fears became your nervous system responses. You can't think your way out of ancestral possession. These patterns live deeper than your conscious mind. They're written in your nervous system, encoded in your cellular memory, embedded in your energetic field like spiritual software running in the background of your life. The only way to break free is through ritual, through ceremony, through energetic exorcism of patterns that were never yours to begin with. You have to actively separate your story from their story, your dreams from their limitations, your potential from their unhealed wounds. This isn't disrespectful to your ancestors, it's honoring them. By healing what they couldn't heal, you're completing their journey. By breaking the patterns they couldn't break, you're setting their spirits free. By becoming what they never got to become, you're fulfilling their deepest wishes. But it requires conscious separation, deliberate differentiation, a clear declaration that their story ends with you and your story begins now. Most people are living out ancestral karma without even knowing it. They think they're making choices, but they're actually following ancient scripts. They think they're creating their own life, but they're actually completing someone else's story. The moment you realize that the voice telling you this isn't for people like us isn't your voice, that the fear holding you back isn't your fear, that the limitations defining your life aren't your limitations, that's the moment you can choose freedom. But freedom requires exile. Exile from the family system that shaped you. Exile from the ancestral programming that defined you. Exile from the generational patterns that possessed you. Not physical exile, energetic exile. Spiritual independence. The courage to become who you actually are instead of who your bloodline programmed you to be. This is the loneliest part of awakening. The moment you realize you have to leave the familiar prison of inherited limitation and step into the unknown territory of your own authentic power. Your ancestors lived in survival mode because they had to. You don't have to. Your ancestors accepted limitation because they had no choice. You have choice. Your ancestors died with their dreams unfulfilled because expansion wasn't safe in their time. Expansion is safe now, but only if you're willing to separate your story from theirs. Only if you're brave enough to heal what they couldn't heal. Only if you're strong enough to become what they never got to become. The bloodline programming stops with you. The generational curse breaks with you. The ancestral patterns die with you, but only if you choose to kill them first. Words are weak. Your DNA doesn't understand English. It doesn't respond to positive thinking or good intentions. It speaks in the language of feeling, frequency, and biochemical instruction. You've been trying to reprogram yourself with thoughts, but thoughts are surface level, shallow. They bounce off your deeper programming like rain off a windshield. If you want to actually change your cellular programming, if you want to rewrite the code that's been running your life, you have to speak in the language your DNA understands. Emotionally backed command combined with somatic instruction and energetic frequency. This isn't manifestation, this is DNA communication. This is direct interface with your cellular programming. This is how you give new instructions to the biological system that creates your reality. Here's how it works. First, you have to create a state of coherence. Your heart, brain, and nervous system have to be synchronized. When you're in survival mode, when you're stressed or scattered or chaotic, your cells are focused on protection, not reception. They're not listening for new instructions. They're following old emergency protocols. But when you can create coherence, when you can drop into deep stillness, when your system relaxes into safety, that's when your cells become programmable. That's when they open to new information. That's when DNA becomes responsive to conscious instruction. The process is simple but requires precision. 1. Stillness. Your nervous system has to recognize safety before your cells will listen to anything new. Deep breathing, meditation, or somatic practices that signal to your body that you're not in danger. 2. Command. Clear, specific instruction about what you want your cellular programming to express. Not wishy-washy hopes or vague desires. Direct commands to your DNA about how you want your life to unfold. 3. Feeling. The emotional frequency that matches the reality you're instructing your cells to create. You have to feel it in your body, not just think about it in your mind. Your cells respond to chemistry, not concepts. 4. Repetition. New programming requires consistent installation. Your old patterns didn't form overnight, and they won't disappear overnight. Daily practice until the new instructions become your new default. 5. Embodiment. Living as if the new programming is already active. Making choices from your new identity. Taking actions from your updated frequency. Proving to your cells that the new reality is safe through lived experiences. This isn't positive thinking. This is biological communication. You're literally talking to your genes, giving them new information about what reality you want them to create. But here's what most people get wrong. They try to use this process to get something they don't have, instead of activating something they already are. Your DNA doesn't respond to desperation. It responds to recognition. It doesn't create new realities. It reveals hidden potentials that were always available. Every quality you desire, every experience you crave, every level of success you dream about, the programming for that already exists in your genetic code. It's just dormant, waiting for the right instructions to express itself. You're not trying to become someone new. You're trying to activate who you already are at the deepest level of your being. Your cells have been following survival instructions for so long that they've forgotten they're capable of thriving. They've been expressing limitation for so many generations that they've lost access to their expansion codes. But those codes are still there, waiting, ready to be activated the moment you learn to speak their language. This is why some people seem to effortlessly create miraculous lives while others struggle for decades with no results. It's not about worthiness or luck or timing. It's about knowing how to communicate with your own biology. Your body is not your enemy. Your DNA is not your limitation. Your cells are not against you. They're waiting for clear instructions about what reality to create. They've just been following old programs, because those were the only instructions they had. Give them new instructions, in their language, with their required frequency, through their preferred method of biochemical communication. Your cells are listening. They're ready. They're waiting for you to remember how to speak to them. The conversation starts now. You've been living with pain that was never yours, carrying cellular trauma like it was sacred, pain passed down from ancestors who never got to heal. Your DNA? It's been running ancient survival software, limiting your power, draining your potential. But you weren't born to survive. You were born to expand. The breakthrough isn't about adding anything. It's about deleting what was never truly you. Scarcity? Delete. Self-sabotage? Delete. Fear that isn't even yours? Delete. The inherited programming dies with you. This is not destruction. This is sacred liberation. Your cells are clean. Your nervous system remembers safety. Your DNA is activated, ready to express your true blueprint. The version of you that was buried under generations of this isn't for people like us. You're not broken. You're ancient. You're a living avatar remembering its original frequency. If this video cracked something opened in you, which I know it did, subscribe to this channel to stay connected with this journey of awakening, and comment below. The ancestral pattern I'm ready to delete is. The frequency I'm ready to embody instead is. Don't overthink. Let your DNA speak. This is cellular transmission. The purge is done. Now it's time to broadcast your power. Go out there and truly live the life you were meant to live. Until next time, stay connected.